Guys, it's Kit. Um, Sorry about any random background noises first off. I am currently recording from my school hallway today, so if there's random background noises, just know that it's just people passing by and just to go ahead and try to ignore it. Today's topic is Sow-in, or Sow-in, or Samhain, or Samhain, depending on how you would prefer to pronounce it, but it is considered the Wiccan New Year. Now, it's generally on October 31st, but some people prefer to celebrate it on November 1st, and it was this holiday that actually gave birth to Halloween. Um, this is the day of the year when the laws of time and space are basically suspended, and the veil between this world and the next world is lifted, allowing communication between our ancestors and the departed people um, to be easier, and it allows their journey through this world. Uh, it also allows them to come back and visit. Um, this is the time of year when it was the Feast of the Dead. This is when all of your food would be harvested, you would be slaughtering your animals, and you would leave food offerings at altars and on doorsteps for the wandering dead. And a lot of people still do this today. And you would also light single candles and leave them in the windows to help the ancestors and spirits and loved ones find their way back. And when you set up your dinner that night, you add up extra chairs at the table and around the hearth for people that you might not be able to see. Um, Apples are actually a really big deal for this time of the year. You bury an apple on the roadside and along paths that you believe the spirits would take for those who got lost or had no descendants to provide for them. So if, let's say, spirit were wandering around and didn't have family, so they wouldn't come to a feast with the food offerings, they would go and find one of these apples. This is also the time of the year when fae folk become very active. They like to pull pranks, especially when the people can't see them. And traveling after dark is not advised. It was actually considered very dangerous. And you used to dress in white on this day, um, and wear disguises made of straw, or you dressed like the opposite gender in order to fool the evil spirits that were out as well. At this time, as I mentioned before, the livestock was also slaughtered. Um, that way you would have food for the winter months, because it's also the Great Feast. It's the end of summer. It's our big celebration saying it's the end of the summer and it's the new year for the Wiccans. And any of the crops that were left out in the fields were not to be harvested after this. It was considered taboo. You leave it alone for the spirits to have because it would be cursed after this. So if you didn't harvest all your crops before Sow-in, you just didn't eat it. And you really hope that you had enough. They also had bonfires, now bonfires, for after the feasting, and you would throw the bones into the fire as an offering, and it would help promote healthy and plentiful livestock in the next year. You would also take a stone and put a person's name on it, usually your own, and you would toss it into the fire. The next day, when you would retrieve this stone, depending on how it came out of the fire, would be able to predict how you were going to end up in the next year. There's actually a lot of different names for this holiday, including the Third Harvest, Day of the Dead, uh, which is New Year, like I mentioned. Um, but there's several other names that I'm not able to think of off of the top of my head for some reason. Um, and this is the balancing day for Beltane. Um, it's just important to note that the jack-o'-lanterns that are used for Halloween now actually came from turnips. We used to carve the turnips in the faces of a protective spirit, and that would protect you. It would keep the evil spirits warded away. So it was highly important to keep these here, and now they've just turned into a pumpkin, which, by the way, is easier to carve than a turnip, first off. But, yeah. There's several different symbolisms for Samhain. It's considered the third harvest. Um, Wiccans like to do things in threes. Three is a number of power. And so you have three big harvests at the end of the summer, and this is the third one. It's the most powerful. It's the one that you have to make sure it's done by. Um, Dark mysteries are symbolism here. There's many dark mysteries in the universe, and this is one of the days that we actually look at them and acknowledge them openly without fear. And it's also the day of rebirth through death. And obviously, there's a lot of different meanings behind that. Um, Usually, people leave it up to personal interpretation. Um, I personally believe it's because obviously it's the day that the spirits are walking among us. So it's the day we contemplate our own death and whether or not we're going to be reborn or not. Um, some Wiccans believe in reincarnation, like myself. Some don't. So it that's where it comes into your own personal interpretation. Some of the symbols for Samhain, or Sow-in if you would prefer to call it that, are gourds, because they are a seasonal um, plant that's edible. This is the time of year when you'd harvest them. Apples, obviously, because you bury them for the wandering spirits. Black cats. Black cats are actually considered good luck to Wiccans, and cats are considered to be creatures of power, and that's part of the reason why black cats are considered bad luck now. Because, no offense to Christians out there, I'm not trying to be like, Christians are bad. Rah, rah, rah. Every religion had its faults. When Christianity came in and started to grow, way back when, um, they took a lot of the symbols that were important to women and Wicca, such as black cats, the number 13, and Fridays, and the blood moons. And they said those were bad, they were evil, they curses, and because of this, unfortunately, now there's a lot of superstitions about it, when actually black cats are good luck. Some of the herbs of Samhain would be allspice, mugwort, deadly nightshade, uh, mandrake, oak leaves, sage, straw, catnip, broom, and straw. Um, Traditional foods of this time that you would have at your feast would be turnips and apples, obviously, and gourds, but you would also have things like nuts, um, different wines, um, and this is the time that you would be finally gorging yourself on meat. So you would have beef, you would have pork, you'd have poultry, and you'd be celebrating. This is a huge day of celebration. Um, just like how Americans have Thanksgiving, and they're thankful for all the food and the wonderful blessings. That's the kind of attitude that you go in towards the Sow-in uh, feast. it's you're thankful that you made it through another year and that you're starting a new year and that you had a good harvest. Um, Obviously, there are incense for every single holiday and every single situation. Certain incense are better than others for certain situations. Um, Three for Sow-in are heliotrope, mint, and nutmeg. The one thing is, when you are burning nutmeg, you want to make sure that you are not directly over the incense because it can cause hallucinations if taken too much. Um, the colors of Sow-in are black, orange, white, silver, and gold. Black and orange obviously have been adopted into the Halloween culture. White has been taken over by the ghosts, but silver and gold were considered also power colors, and therefore they're very important for Sow-in. And last but not least, if you're going to use any stone magic at this time of year, use black stones, preferably jet or obsidian, but any black stones will help you with this. So I hope that this video on Sow-in helped you guys a little bit. Stay tuned next week for the next holiday. I do believe it's Yule, if I can remember off the top of my head. I really think it's Yule. I might be too tired. Anyway, so this is Kit. Leave your comments below if you would like something other than these videos as well. Check out facebook.com/KitRules for daily videos and pictures. And please like and subscribe if you want to keep hearing more. Bye.